Barry,
Okay.
your book of the month.
My book of the month is this one, The Case for Working with Your Hands, or Why Office Work is Bad for Us and Fixing Things Feels Good. Okay? So, this is another book written by a guy who loves motorbikes more than he loves office work. So, maybe it's grand. It's been a little bit covered by Robert Pirsig, Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, but it's still a hell of a blast. It's even got a drawing in here of a clutch rod oil seal. He gets into the details. He loves the motorbike world. But the interesting thing about it is he's also a guy who's got hired in working in the world of think tanks and analysts and all that. So he's actually had two parallel careers. And when he compares the two, he just prefers one so much more than the other. And he has reasons for that. So the kind of point that he's making is about the fact that work has become less and less physical, that people don't make things anymore, and that when Peter Drucker came up with the expression knowledge worker back in the 70s, that it was a bit of a scam, because most knowledge work is actually just clerical work, and most of it is just very routine. So he asks a question like, why does the latest Mercedes not have a dipstick in it? Well, he says the reason is that they don't think we want to get our hands dirty anymore doing something like checking the oil level in our car. And he says, well, are they right in that? They possibly are. So we have the wizardry of electronics saying, don't worry about this kind of stuff. We'll do this for you. You don't need to know. You come into the experts and we'll charge you through the nose and all that kind of stuff. So expertise in that way is taken out of our hands. We get cut adrift from the world that we live in. It's not good for us. It's not good for our happiness. And you can see the results is the point that he's making. One of the things I was really struck by in it was he says we tend to think the big distinction in the workforce between higher educated and lower educated. And of course the college is forever saying if you get a degree from us it'll be worth €100,000 per annum to you to defend the education system. And he's saying the real distinction is between jobs that are routine and jobs that aren't routine. If your job is rules based, the chances are it's going to be outsourced to India or China. If it's not rules-based, you have more control over it. So it's a really interesting distinction in terms of the flat world and Thomas Friedman and all that kind of stuff. The question about how rules-based your work is. So as he says, you can't hammer a nail over the internet. So there's certain things that need work in situ. You've got to be there, you've got to be face-to-face. And that's where the job security is and where the added value is that can't simply be downloaded onto an expert system or something like that.
And relevance to business?
Well, I think for people looking at 450,000 people unemployed and asking when we're rebuilding an economy, what kind of economy do we want to rebuild? I think there's a huge amount in here. When we talk about value chain, going up the value chain, smart economy and all that, I think we swallow a lot of assumptions in there about where the value is going and the next generation in the workplace. I think it fits an awful lot with where Ireland is trying to position itself in terms of added value and cleverness, some of which is not about rules-based stuff and not about old world manufacturing. It's about R&D, yeah, but it's also about, I think, solving problems in a different way, finding problems, the more creative end of the spectrum, more Richard Florida end of the spectrum. So, and I like the guy. I think he writes with a sense of humour. He's great writing about working in a motorbike shop. There's a whole lot of us would love to have a second career. A lot of people in the public sector have a second career. So for those who are still looking for volume 2 of Zen, the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, it's there.